All right, guys, what's up? Happy Sunday, March 23rd, 2025. Let's go ahead and jump into our week ahead analysis, starting with the E-mini S&P 500. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here, as I promised all of you who have signed up for Founders, and also those of you who are going to do the monthly. Can't wait to get started live trading with you guys in the live trading room. I'm really hoping to be able to launch everything by this Friday, March 28th, my 45th birthday. That would be awesome. I've got TradingView open over here on my other screen, and it really is coming together. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. We got Sierra charts, TradingView, Vol Edge. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and just jump into this analysis here. So on ES, what you can see on the weekly chart is we've got a trend run to the downside, pulling back. You can see we challenged that pink dot, and now you've got these two yellow dots. You got this red line. You've got all this set up here as resistance heading into next week. And the question is, are we going to blow up and through that resistance like that? Or are we going to pick up all that resistance and fire back down to these lows? My bet would be that this resistance will be strong and that we will fire back down to these lows, because the trend run to the downside on the weekly chart is looking very, very strong. We couldn't even make it back to the middle of the Vol Edge envelope here. And right now we've got the live part of the middle of the envelope here stacking up as resistance. So I'm going to be looking for resistance on ES. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it has to hold. It just means that's my game plan going into next week. So if I expect strong resistance on the weekly chart because we're firing to the downside, we're in a weekly trend run down, what do I expect on the daily chart? Well, on the daily chart right here, you would say, okay, look, since the daily basically entered congestion up here, right? We're trending down, boom, enter congestion. And now we've been trying to get something going to the upside, but we just can't get it going. Why? Because all that weekly resistance is pushing down on price right into that 57.60 level. We've seen it tested multiple times this week. 1, 2, 3. It's holding, right? So Vol Edge, what do we want to do? Well, we want to look at where all the lines and dots are matching up to key types of trading. Okay, on the daily chart, if we expect congestion to continue, congestion action, range-bound trading, it's my definition of when we're in a range, which means we're not in a trend, we're directionless. Well, if I expect the congestion trading to continue on the daily, well, where's my congestion resistance level on the daily? It's right there in the 57.60. Does not that match up with anything on the weekly? Yes, it does. Right in there, all that weekly resistance I just pointed out. So on the daily, do we have a confluence of dots, right, for Monday, the next 24 hours, right? Because the market's going to open at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. Where would I like to get short? Well, right here at 57, 51, 57, 52. Why? Well, daily's in congestion, right? We're cycling. And we know that when we're cycling, we go from one side of the envelope to the other. Well, there's the top of the envelope. There are my dots. I would be looking for something like that. That would be my game plan for the next 24 hours, using Vol Edge, using the levels, using the types of trading, using all of these different tools at our disposal to pick off not only a really solid directional bias, but then the key levels to act against on our intraday charts. And that's what we're going to do in the live day trading room, which hopefully we're going to launch on Monday, March 31st, if we can launch Vol Edge on Friday, March 28th, which I hope we can. The only thing I'm waiting on is payment processing approval and finishing off some final touches on the TradingView charts. Still lots to do, but I'm working hard and we're getting there. So in the live day trading room, what I would do is I would say, hey, look, that's my level up there for ES. That's where I'm looking to get short, right? It doesn't mean I'm married to shorting at that level. Like, oh, it goes there, I have to short. No, we could blow through that level, but the odds are there's a lot of resistance there. I will watch my intraday charts, see if they go there, see if my intraday system confirms that level. And if it does, I will take action, put on the trade, because I plan my day out and then I trade my plan. That's how I go into each trading day, as you'll see in the live trading room, with no anxiety, no fear, no, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and over trading and tilting. None of that. I have a game plan. I know my system. I follow the game plan. The trades work sometimes, the trades don't work sometimes. But when they work, I make a lot more than when they don't work. That's probabilities. That's having an edge. Then you make money over time. Okay? So that's really what it's all about. So that's ES, and it's going to be very, very similar for NQ. Let's go ahead and load NQ real quick. And I'm really just going to cover the indices here, guys, because I don't have time this week to go through everything as I'm preparing for launch. I will try and cover gold for some of you who like trading gold, maybe a little bit of Bitcoin, crude oil, but generally speaking, we're going to focus on ES and NQ because I don't have the time this week leading up to launch, and most of you trade ES and NQ anyways. And then once we launch and I got all this business stuff behind me and I can focus squarely on the trading, that's when I will cover all of the futures markets every single day the same way that I just covered ES. We're going to look at platinum, copper, crude oil, heating oil, all the major futures markets, because that's how we find the best setup and the best levels heading into each day where we execute that trading plan in the live day trading room, which is awesome. By the way, guys, if you're looking for a founder spot, we've only got a couple left. So now's the time to get it. I can only do 10 of those because of the personal mentorship. The monthly spots are also going to be awesome. So don't feel bad if the founders is a bit too much and you can't afford it. It's not the end of the world. In fact, with monthly, you're going to get more value inside that monthly membership than anything else out there on YouTube. You're going to get the end of day analysis. You're going to get my charts, my indicators. You're going to get access to the private Discord where people are sharing trading ideas, trading plans. You're going to get access to the live day trading room where I show you how to execute everything you're learning in the course every single day. You get access to the course, of course. So the monthly membership is awesome. So don't feel bad if you can't do founders. Founders is just there for people, who can spend the money and want more extra attention from me, right? Because there are people in the trader survey on the waiting list at volproedge.com. There are people that wanted that extra special attention. And then there are a lot of people that don't want that extra special attention. So, trying to do something to kind of please as many people as I can. And I think this is a really good fit. So I'm super pumped about it. All right. So go ahead now and look at the NASDAQ. Same thing. You can see the weekly chart here. We don't need to rehash this, but what would I be looking at on the weekly? I mean, yeah, right up in here, that yellow dot, 20,188, right at maybe 20,204. So say 20,200, right? And then look where that is right on the daily chart. It's right at these highs. So that would be where I would be looking on the NASDAQ. My game plan would be, hey, I would love to see this thing try and push up here and get shot down, right? I would look to short here on the intraday system if it confirmed, and then I'd be looking for price to continue down like that because I expect a strong daily congestion resistance level because of the strong weekly resistance. The monthly still weak. Yeah, we've got that quarterly support there. So I do think we're probably going to head back down and bang into that again and keep retesting it, right? Ultimately, is that quarterly level going to hold or break? We don't know, but that's what's going to determine, where we go here in the next few months, because of course the quarterly close is, in about a week, next Monday, the 31st of March, boom, that quarterly bar is closing. We're going into the next quarter, and then that's going to give us a lot of information. Where does this monthly bar close here, right? For the month of March, and then the new quarter, where does this close? Do we have all the support holding on close? Does the monthly manage to suck back up above these dots? It's really difficult to say. Right now, the monthly is looking very weak to me. So even though the quarterly support has been holding and caused a little bit of a bounce, and I talked about that, I wouldn't be surprised to see that 19,600 level ultimately give way based on what I'm seeing right now. But it's still too early to tell. We will visit that at the end of the month when we do the monthly analysis for April, and we do the Q2 analysis, starting also in April, right? So this is how you use Vol Pro Edge. You're using the yearly chart. You're using the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, the daily. You've got all these charts, and then you nail these levels. You nail your directional bias, and then you execute that plan every day in the live day trading room, right? And guys, that doesn't mean we win every day. We don't win every day. So people are like, oh, I came into the room and we lost. Yeah, guys. Get used to losing. Trading involves a lot of losing. It's a probabilities game, right? It's not I got to win every trade game. Because if you come in like that with that mindset, you're going to lose. That's not what trading is, right? So just, be aware of that. Be monitoring how you're thinking about trading. So the NASDAQ, that's what I'd be looking for, guys. The shorting up against that level that I just outlined, anywhere really up there. I mean, The daily resistance zone is coming in, from 20,100 to 20,200. I'd be looking for like, 2150, 20,150 up into 20,200, like that 50-point zone, which is not really a wide zone with the NASDAQ. And then I use my intraday volume based charts to see if we go and test that level. I use the same system on those charts to tell me if the probabilities are that that level is going to hold. Then I want to get short and take my shot. If we don't get to that level, I don't care. I don't need to trade, right? I know where I want to trade from. I know the direction I want to trade. And then I wait for the market to come to me, right? That's the key. All right. So that's the NASDAQ, guys. Let's go ahead and just wrap it up with, we'll look at gold quickly, finish it off with maybe some crude oil, some Bitcoin, and the dollar. And then, I'll just do as much analysis for you guys every day here on YouTube this week as I possibly can, as I'm just, busier than heck trying to get all these final pieces in place for the launch of Vol Pro Edge this Friday, my 45th birthday, which is going to be awesome. All right, let's load gold, see what we got shaking there. All right, guys, dealing with the little kid. For those of you who don't have kids, be careful if you're thinking about having them. Once you have them, you absolutely love them with all your heart and you wouldn't change it. But boy, if you enjoy having your life and a little bit of independence, like when they're young, man, the first 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, like just kind of kiss those years goodbye, if you know what I mean. Oh man, we're getting ready for the next one's coming in May. I hope the next one is a lot calmer than my current little 5-year-old. She's my first kid was an angel. I was like, wow, this kid is very, very difficult. For whatever reason, they have their own personalities, but this one is like just yeah. And then the next one, I'm just praying to God that it's easier. It's just it's crazy. All right, let's get into gold, guys. All right, so with gold, yeah, we had that pretty big correction there on Friday. You can see good drop. I thought there'd be more support here. So, we broke through a pretty good support level. And now with the weekly, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to start maybe seeing a correction here with gold because that weekly, basically tagging. Look, guys, it tagged our key level there. High of the week, right at that Vol Pro Edge level. Absolutely incredible. I thought we were going to keep pushing a little higher. But hey, look, big correction down. What does that mean on gold? It means you're trending up, trending, bang, right? That's a congestion entrance down move. Volume, I'd like to see the volume a little bit bigger there, to be honest. So I wouldn't do anything with gold here for the next 24 hours. That's kind of a tough bar to read. We're probably rolling over. And if I was trading gold in the live trading room, I would look right there at that key level coming across about 30.48. But even then, I don't really like, if I was looking at short, I don't like kind of like there's that high, there's these, you're kind of in the middle of that zone. It's not really a great place to take action. So I'd probably let gold just kind of settle. And certainly if gold, tried to push back up here like that, that would set up a good short for the next day. I would like something like that. Because you got, I mean, look, you broke that key support there, and then now you've got that live level, congestion level. We're underneath it. So that's all resistance right there. You're backed up by the dot zone right there. So you've got a lot of resistance on gold. I certainly wouldn't be playing the long side now anymore. I would shift to the short bias based on what we're seeing here on the weekly as well. I mean, the fact that we pulled back down, we can see that we've got a lot of resistance coming in here on this quarter, the monthly. The quarterly is looking to exhaust, I think, here potentially. Probably by the end of the year, we're going to want to jump up there and tag those yellow dots around 3,200. It just, may not be now, right? We may have to give some back first. So, it's kind of a key close there when you get that weekly close right there below the true average. That can kind of signify that we're going to see maybe a little bit of a correction back down like that. It's kind of, I'd be betting on that over this, but anything's possible, right? Let's just keep an eye on it. See if we can do some scenario analysis here, you guys. So what scenario analysis is that you go and you look for a similar situation like this that happened before. So go ahead and see, using all of our Vol Pro Edge indicators here, if we can find a similar situation where, you're trending to the upside, kind of like this. It's a little different, but see, you're trending, and then bang. Yeah, you didn't get the volume. I usually like to see bigger volume on those congestion entrance bars, but something like this, where you're looking for that dot zone to be resistance, and then you see the carry through to the downside. That's kind of what I would be looking for on gold for this week. But I'd probably just, let it confirm for the next 24 hours. If you put a gun to my head, which I hope you don't, I would look to short against that dot zone right there at 30, 45, 46 in there. And I would watch my intraday charts very closely in the live trading room, right? So this is what it's all about, guys. Just getting your directional bias, picking your levels, and then waiting for the setups to come to you in the live trading room. Like that's where you get the edge. All right, let's go ahead and finish off here with crude, the dollar, and Bitcoin, and then we'll wrap it up. Just not going into full-blown educational analysis here, but giving you a little bit more in terms of how it's going to be in the members area daily analysis. I'm still going to do the YouTube for you guys for sure, but in the members area, that's where I can really go into all the teaching and the concepts from the course and really lay it out. And this is kind of a taste where you're using more of the charts, you're connecting the different levels, we got different types of trading, we got different patterns, we got lots of stuff going on, and it's really cool when you start to string it all together. All right, let's let crude load here. All right, guys, looking at crude here, it's still kind of a mess. I would just exercise caution like I've been talking about. If you haven't been trading crude the last, look at this on the daily chart. I mean, this has just been a disaster. And I've been telling you that since our last really clear crude signal was shorting that resistance there. Ever since then, I've just kind of been looking at this going, probably don't trade crude. That's what I'm seeing right now too. Let's let this continue to shake itself out. Crude's a mess right now. And when you know the market's not to trade, that saves you a lot of money, guys, and a lot of heartache. So, that there are plenty of futures markets out there, and you just have to find the ones that are clear and trade those. So I do like, NQ and ES from the short side into those levels that I identified. Gold, I would just let that settle, see if we're going to get some follow through on that big move from Friday, or are we going to try and retest those highs and then maybe get a good short up there at the close of Monday? I would wait on gold. Crude here, I wouldn't do anything. And let's go ahead and just finish off here with the dollar and Bitcoin. And again, remember, when we do the full end of day analysis for the members area at volproedge.com at the Discord, it'll be in the private Discord section. I'm going through corn, wheat, soybeans. I mean, all the currency markets. We're going to look at the energies. We're going to look at the metals, platinum, copper, gold, silver. That's when you really go through all those and you find the best markets every single day. And then you trade those in the live day trading room. That's what I can't wait to do with you guys. Oh, well, Andy, why don't you do that right now? Well, to be honest, it takes several hours a day to do that. And I've got to get all this, launch stuff for Vol Pro Edge ready and launched and behind me so I can then put my full focus and attention on all these futures markets, because you guys as members, not only are you going to get that super detailed video every single day for all the futures markets, but you're going to get my personal notes when I put together the notes, every single market, what I'm seeing, what I'm waiting for. I mean, guys, the value is going to be off the charts, and I can't wait to get going. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and look at the dollar, and then we'll wrap it up with some Bitcoin. Again, I got to see when we're going to roll this Bitcoin contract. Should be soon, but Sierra usually tells me when to roll it. I'm not trading Bitcoin on the futures, so I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just giving those of you who do trade Bitcoin a little bit of directional bias, a little bit of key levels there for your help. I'm doing it for you guys. All right, so yeah, you can see, the dollar is starting to make a little bit of a comeback here against the euro temporarily. Is this move to the upside on the weekly over? It could be. You're up into a lot of resistance here now on the quarterly chart. The monthly, which is getting ready to close here, obviously in about a week, if we were to see some follow through here on the weekly chart, to the downside, something like this, close the month like that, weekly congestion entrance to the downside, right? That would mean potentially that the monthly, if we were to close underneath that and underneath these two, then yeah, you could be seeing potentially a move for the monthly to go back down like that. And that would make sense if the markets, the indices are going to continue to correct, then maybe you will see some fear back in the market and the dollar might catch a bid. But let's wait and see. The next 24 hours, am I seeing anything crazy here that I trade on the euro dollar? No, I would just say, let it work itself out. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. We'll wrap it up. Yeah, so for the next 24 hours, I would just be looking to short against my levels on NQ is what I would trade. But for those of you who trade ES, same thing. And I would just watch those levels very carefully. And if you see, signs that we get up there and it looks good for a short, that's the spot to hammer it. And if you don't get there, just kind of let this market do its thing, right? Or if we don't get to that level, see, this is why the live trading room, it's you got to be proactive, right? Not reactive. You come with your plan. Since I'm bearish on the day, that's my bias and that's my key level. Yeah, sometimes if we don't get to that level, but then we start to trend down and we get a pullback, okay, I'll try and jump on board this trend, even though it's not at my perfect level, because I don't think we're going to get there now. So these are all the nuances of how you learn to, be proactive during the day based on trading the analysis that you prepared for the day. And that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. And it takes away, all the fear and the second guessing and the anxiety. Just, you got your plan, you trade your plan. That's what it's all about. All right, so looking at Bitcoin, yeah, kind of a mess here as well. We're stuck in the middle. There's a lot of support down here for sure. Doesn't mean it can't break, but I'd be watching this, this key level here for the week, 79,500. I wouldn't do anything here. You're right in the middle of the range. So I'm seeing a lot of, not really that clear on the dollar, Bitcoin, crude, indices look pretty good for a short. These other markets, let's let them work themselves out. Gold, let it work itself out the next 24 hours. That's it, you guys. I'm going to go enjoy my Sunday. It's about 1 o'clock Eastern right now. You got plenty of time to digest this before the open tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's 11 a.m. here in Costa Rica. I got to get out to the beach. I will see you guys maybe later in the Discord if I put on some trades on my Top Step XFAs tonight at the Asian Open. Potentially, I'll let you know. And I'm doing that right now, guys. I don't usually trade Asia, but I'm doing it a lot now because I'm using my days where I would normally be trading New York and trading the live day trading room. I'm using that to get all this other admin launch stuff ready for Vol Pro Edge. So that's why sometimes right now at night I'll put on trades in Asia, share those in the Discord, and working toward about a $10,000 payout again on Top Step, which is awesome. This will be my 9th or 10th, maybe my 9th month in a row with pretty substantial payouts every month, which is awesome. So super pumped about that. Take care, you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the support. Like, share, subscribe, or don't, whatever you want. I'll see you. Bye.